Giordano.
Hi.
Hey, Debbie.
Hey.
Hey, thanks for joining us. You've tuned in to us on Channel 26 here in Milpitas. We're on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday afternoons at 6:30.
Yep.
And Saturday and Sunday mornings, 10 a.m. So we're glad you joined us. So, Debbie, you care to introduce our guest for this week?
I'd love to. We have today with us George Perez, who is a fire captain with the Milpitas Fire Department, and he's here to talk about his charity event.
I am. First of all, I'd like to say thank you guys for having me. It's an honor to be here. You know, I've done some research on your guys' show, and it looks like it's a lot of fun. It's a great opportunity to get.
Woo, what a nice plug we have here.
to get, the toy drive out there, because it is a really great charity.
Great.
Well, we're excited to have you, and we're heading into the holiday season here.
It is.
I know we're going to talk a little bit about your program and what you're doing, but we'd like to get a chance to learn a little bit more about you. You're with the Milpitas Fire Department. Tell us a little bit about how you got into the fire service, how long you've been there, what interested you to choose firefighting as a career?
I don't want to sound cliche, but I was a little kid who used to follow the fire truck.
Oh, wow.
I always had just that enthusiasm when I used to hear the lights and sirens, go down the street. I am a fire captain. I've been with Milpitas Fire Department for 15 years now. I'm originally from the Fresno area, so not too far from home, but just far enough, to be able to, to be away from that. When I was going through the testing process, I was lucky because I was at a young age, and I was lucky to get picked with the city of Milpitas, which is a great city, and I thank my stars every day that I got hired here. I tested everywhere from the, all the way up north by the Oregon border, all the way down south to San Diego, and I was lucky enough, like I said, to get hired here in Milpitas. And again, I was just, always had an enthusiasm for the fire engines, the fire trucks, and of course wanting to help people.
Where did you go to your firefighter academy?
It was in Merced.
Oh, nice.
Yes,
so it was local.
Merced. Yeah, it was. I got a small football scholarship to play football there, so I kind of killed two birds with one stone, and yeah.
It was football player. We didn't know that about your background.
A little bit, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, terrific. Well, tell us maybe a little bit about what you enjoy best about being in firefighting service.
That's a good question.
It is the smile on someone's face when you do something for them. No matter if it's something big as, not letting their house burn down, or something as small as coming to shut their water off when they have a broken water line. We see people at their worst, and to be able to put a smile on their face, it just kind of warms our heart, and that's what 90% of firefighters get into the fire service for, is to be able to help someone. And it's that one call, where we do see the smile on someone's face, it makes everything worthwhile, no matter whether it's 2 o'clock in the morning or at lunchtime or at dinner time. It's just good to see that smile on people's face.
Great.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of the activities and charities that the local firefighters here get involved with, and then we're going to break it down and talk about the local project that we've got coming up.
Okay.
But let's look at the general overview. What do the firefighters do for nonprofit groups?
We do a handful of different events. I know we're big with the breast cancer. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see our pink T-shirts that we wore for the month of October.
Okay.
All the proceeds that we make off those shirts. So when the firefighters buy the shirts, whatever's made above that, we give to help support breast cancer. Our chief allows us to wear those shirts on duty. So not only do we give a financial support, but we also just show an emotional support by wearing the pink T-shirt. And that's just something real small that we can do to let people who have gone through something like that know that, yes, we are behind you, and we do support you. Another big one is the Muscular Dystrophy Association, better known as the Jerry Lewis Telethon. They do what's called the Fill the Boot. I'm sure you've heard of it before. It's where you see the firefighters standing out on the street corners.
I think I've seen one out there by the Great Mall.
Yeah, and so we try to get as many people together, and it can be donations from whatever you have in your ashtray to, I think we've gotten a $1,500 cash donation one time. So just when people see us out there, they know that we're behind this great cause.
I know Relay for Life is one that
The Relay for Life is a huge
project you've been involved with.
Yeah, Milpitas Firefighters Local 1699, as of last year, we sponsored the Kickoff Barbecue. which all the proceeds again went towards the Relay for Life, and we also fed all of the survivors at the beginning of that event for free. And what we did was we went around to local businesses, and there was a lot of local businesses who wanted to chip in once they knew exactly what the event was. And so we were able to get a lot of the food donated, a lot of the items donated, and then whatever wasn't donated, your local firefighters picked up.
Great. Well, I see you guys as well at community events and civic organizations or kids' activities where you roll up with a fire truck and get a chance to show the kids the equipment, and so lots of things like that. Where
And
you're reaching
good
out.
community spirit too.
Again, just to see the smile on the kid's face, it makes it more.
Maybe
than
have some
worthwhile.
more aspiring firefighters when you.
Hopefully, because we need as many as we can get, without a doubt.
Well, terrific. Well, we're entering into the holiday season here, and you guys have a special event coming up that you're working at, a special effort. Tell us a little bit about that.
A little bit of history on the Milpitas Firefighters Toy Program. It's been around for about 25 years now. It started out as we used to partner up with the Marines for the Toys for Tots program, and I'm sure as everybody knows, the Marines program is huge. They are worldwide. So whatever we would be able to collect, we would give to them. Well, we've seen the outpour in the community. Everybody started to help, and we've seen more and more toys come in. So one of our fire engineers right now, Reggie Sutton, had a great idea to start our own toy drive here in Milpitas. Didn't really know how to go about it, didn't really know how it was going to work out, but what's the worst that could happen? It didn't work, but at least we were able to try. That evolved into us 100% of the proceeds and the toys stay here in Milpitas. That's what kind of that's what kind of separates our toy program from all others. That's what really big businesses want to see, is they want to help out in their community, and when we're able to tell them that 100% of the proceeds stay here in Milpitas.
Well, that's terrific. I mean, I've been aware of your efforts over the course of the years. But
You see the drums or the barrels at different stores.
Absolutely,
for
but
drop-off
that's
points.
news to me to understand that those are all local recipients.
I did not know
Yes.
that either. That's great.
One of the spin-offs is the small community of Alviso, which is just, they're an incorporated part of San Jose. We do include them in the toy drive because as we started to do some research, we kind of found that they were kind of just pushed, I guess for lack of better words, kind of just pushed aside, so we included them into our toy drive.
Well, good. Well, I know that our food pantry as well serves that community
Yes.
too, so I think that's a good connection.
So, George, let me ask you, was there anything specific that inspired the firefighter? You said Reggie Sutton maybe started it, but what was it? Is there any real driving force that began the desire to collect toys for the local community kids?
This was before I was here, but I guess out on North McCarthy Boulevard, a long time ago, there used to be, I guess, like a migrant farm worker camps, where the farm workers would come in, and that's kind of where they would stay. Well, I guess the firefighters ran some calls there sometime, and they seen, the kids out there, and they would be playing with rocks or be playing with bicycle with no wheel or, a flattened ball or something. So that's where, at the beginning of the Firefighters Toy Program, that's where the majority of our toys went. And from there, it grew into what it is today.
Nice.
So just the firefighters seeing that, that there might be some kids out there who weren't going to have a Christmas or who wouldn't be able to get toys for Christmas. I think that's kind of what started that.
So I guess you have a process you go through to make sure that those toys are going to worthy kids. What if someone in town knows someone that could really use that sort of assistance?
We are a full nonprofit organization. We have our 501c3 status, and part of that is we have to have a selection process in order to narrow down who receives the gifts. In order to qualify for our program, again, you have to be a Milpitas or Alviso resident. You have to show some sort of assistance, that you're on some sort of, or proof of assistance, whether it be welfare, WIC, anything along those lines. We try not to be choosy about what it is, as long as there's some sort of assistance, which does show that, what's the word I'm looking for, that...
There's a level of need.
A low income, yeah. And then you also have to show the birth certificates for the children who do come in.
Wow, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And that's good to know, that you do make sure that those families are needy that get those gifts.
Most definitely. Because unfortunately there are people who try to get around the system.
Right.
And again, I don't think we've ever said no to anybody. We always try to make exceptions, accommodations for everybody. But the people who do come through the program, who do all the proper paperwork.
Okay, let's talk about how Milpitas residents can help out with your program. The flyer that you have that talks about the dates, December 1st through the 21st.
Yes.
And there's drop-off points, and so let's briefly go through how can somebody out there help.
Okay. First of all, I think my biggest thing is that I always point out to anybody, whether you're a major corporation or just your average citizen, no donation is too small. Again, we've accepted donations from $25 to, I think our biggest donation from Gigamon, which is a local company, I think they were able to raise $18,000 last year.
Nice.
Which was a little less than half of what we raised total for the year. So, a big thank you to them. Yeah, so anybody who wants to donate, they can send a monetary donation care of myself, George Perez, or Gabe Borland to Milpitas Fire Station 1 at 777 South Main Street. If they want to donate toys or canned goods, because again, we do partner up with the food pantry. The food pantry does their giveaway the same time and location as we do our toy giveaway. Any one of the 4 fire stations in Milpitas, any one of the city buildings is a collection point.
Okay.
So again, no donation is too small, and we collect all non-perishable foods, and all of that stuff, all the non-perishable food items go to the food pantry. And they go through and they sort and they do their process, which their qualification process is about the same as ours.
So my only question would be then dropping off a toy, it could be anywhere from birth through teenage?
Yes.
And not gender specific, or just any variety?
Correct. Normally the hardest gifts that we find to get are for the older kids.
Okay.
The 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old kids. Because again, we don't want to exclude them from the giveaway, because I remember when I was a 16, 17-year-old kid, I still looked forward to, opening up my presents and gifts, or I'm sorry, my presents at Christmas. But of course, they do cost a little more. So those are normally the hardest gifts that we find that we don't get as much of.
And I imagine you can take some of the money and then go out and purchase what you need and to match up those families and make that work.
Thank you for bringing that up, Debbie. With the monetary donations that we get, we have a great working partnership with Walmart. We go through and our firefighters' wives and family members
Nice.
come through, and we sort out all the toys. Then we do our annual big shopping spree. And
Wow.
if any of you guys have hung out with firefighters, we're like big kids. We all like big kids. We go down to Walmart, and I believe last year we spent about $11,000 at Walmart.
Wow.
And we have carts and carts.
So
and
George,
carts.
there's a lot of work behind the scenes that goes into making this thing tick. I mean, people
There
don't
is.
realize that.
There is, and that's kind of why it's a great partnership. It's not just the local firefighters; it's the city of Milpitas and the Milpitas Fire Department. You might just see the firefighters out there, but again, it's a partnership between all three. And without any one of the 3 players, it wouldn't be able to happen. But yeah, your local firefighters between the months of October and December will probably put in, a couple thousand hours worth of work, just to make this happen. But again, on the day of the giveaway, every ounce of energy, every second that we put into it, it's more than worth it to see the smile on the people's
Great.
face.
How about goals for this year? How many kids or families might be involved in this?
Last year we helped around 800 individual children, or children who actually received gifts. Every year for the last probably 3 or 4 years, that number slowly went up. So we do expect more than that. Of course, with the economic hard times that everybody's kind of facing, it's really hard to determine how we're going to do financially. We do stash a little money, and I guess stash might be a bad word. We do have a little bit of reserves in our Toy Drive bank account for the rainy day. And all we can do is try. Just for a little history, in the past, there's been years where we haven't had nowhere near the donations that we needed. So I went around to each firefighter, and they dug deeply in their pocket, and we were able to make it work.
Wow.
That's how much it means to us to make this work and to see, all the kids who need toys receive toys.
Well, crystal ball, what do you see in the future, the next few years down the line, and how viable is the program going to be, and what are you going to need to make it continue to work?
So this is my last year as a chairman of the Firefighters Toy Program. I've been doing it for 15 years, and part of the viability is the younger firefighters stepping up, and we've never had a problem with that in our local union. There have been people jumping at the opportunity just to help out. So I think that's a big part of it, and then just getting our name out to the big city businesses. That we are a full nonprofit. They are able to write it off for their taxes, and that 100% of the proceeds do stay in your community. I think that's what really people want to see and that they want to hear. Everybody wants to help out, but they really don't know how to go about it, and they really don't know if, yes, their money is going to go to their community.
Right.
Well, with our organization, there's absolutely no question about that. Your money will stay in Milpitas. It will go to help the residents who live here, and we are a certified 501c3 organization. So we do fall under strict guidelines by the IRS.
Well, terrific, George. It's been great having you today. Appreciate you coming in and sharing with us and our audience about the program. You guys give a lot to the community, not only on service, but in your free time as well. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much. And we want to thank you. Here's our Valley Homes on TV T-shirt.
Thank you guys
Thank
very
you
much.
for guest spotting with us today, and we'll be getting the word out and hopefully maybe getting some more gifts for those needy kids here in the city of Milpitas.
That would be great.
George, thank you so much.
Thank
We
you
appreciate
guys.
you.
Thank you guys very
Thanks,
much.
George.
Todd, thank you.
Think you found every hazard out here today? Think again. The spot you missed could be a killer. That spot on your skin could be skin cancer. If you're a man over 50, you're in a group most likely to develop skin cancer, including melanoma, the kind that kills one person every hour. That's why your best shot is to check for a spot. It's easy. Follow through and check your skin. Go to spotskincancer.org to find out how. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
We all share a common journey. We wanted to serve our country and protect the things we love. We were ready to face any mission and help those in need. But for some of us, coming home was more of a challenge than we expected. In the service, we had each other's backs. But as veterans, it can sometimes feel like we're all alone.
At the Veterans Crisis Line, we understand what you're going through, and we can help. It's your call.
Through the years, trends and styles may come and go, but the important things remain the same. Generation after generation, consistently there, creating moments and memories to last a lifetime. Like a true friend, the national parks have always been there for you, and now you can be there for them. Support the National Park Foundation and help protect America's treasured places.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Valley Homes on TV. I'm Debbie Giordano, along with Todd Flesner, our local mortgage broker. And we're doing an October wrap-up. What we like to do is talk about what happened in the month of October and maybe give a glimpse of what the future of the market looks like. There's so much talk. I won't go into specifics, but I just had gotten quite a few articles. But I think my home is worth much more. And what that is a lot of times the sellers get wrapped up into a situation where they hear about multiple offers. We were just talking offline about all the cash deals.
Right.
And sellers think that their home is worth a lot more than it really is, but you really don't want to overprice it in this market. And San Jose Mercury had a great article October 8th about best foot forward. They talked about home preparation. So not only is pricing your home a key, you have to be right at market, but also that home preparation is extremely, extremely important. And lastly, I think another interesting article that came out last week in San Jose Mercury is about the home makes the grade. And what they're talking about is homes that are within particular school districts. And our school districts in Milpitas have really risen high, and it's making a lot of the homes in Milpitas more valuable, becoming a great place to live.
Well, I know, yeah, a lot of the measures that folks look at, the scoring, the testing, and those sort of things, Milpitas is ranking very, very well.
They are. So you attended a seminar, or you got some information you can bring
Yeah,
back to us.
I just came back from the National Association of Mortgage Brokers, their annual meeting, and we had the opportunity for one of the sessions to have Lawrence Yu, who is the chief economist for the National Association of Realtors.
I think he writes in the Realtor magazine. I see his.
Well, he does also. Yeah, he does that. He testifies on Capitol Hill.
Oh, super.
You know, he is very, very involved in terms of what's happening with real estate and its impact and its contribution to our national economy.
So, what does Lawrence have to say?
Well, you know, here we are. We're heading into 2014 here shortly, and he was taking a look at kind of what the market is currently and where we may be headed. Some of these things we've been talking about here locally, but these are also trends that we're seeing played out on a national scale. In terms of home inventory, we're actually at about a 13-year low in terms of inventory.
I knew it was low, but I didn't know it was that low.
Yeah, in terms of homes available for sale. And so we have that tight shortage, and we see that here manifested in things like multiple offers and all cash offers and some of those sort of things. And he, looking into 2014, sees that to be a continuing trend, that inventory is going to remain relatively tight in relation to demand.
Okay.
And so when he projects it out and takes a look at what that might have in terms of impact on home prices, he sees that continuing to have some upward pressure on home prices, and it's anywhere from about 5 to 8% appreciation in home values
For 2014.
for 2014.
Okay, and is that countrywide?
That's a national number.
Average, and we've been seeing a higher rate of appreciation here locally due to our uptick in our economy.
That's true, and I think in 2013 on the national level we saw a little bit higher growth nationally as well.
Right.
So that's the rate of appreciation is going to probably taper off a little bit, but it's going to probably likely to continue to be there because of inventory issues and demand. Along with that, then. He talked a little bit about the shadow inventory, and we've talked about that on the show as well. Those properties that banks have taken back, that they've held on to, and then are bringing back into the market as REO, as real estate owned by a bank. And particularly here in California, you talked about that not being as much of a factor in our local California market.
Because less properties are underwater now with the rate of appreciation.
That's correct. And a lot of those properties have already come back into market.
And some have been able to refinance, I guess, and keep their homes.
Exactly. And I've seen a lot of that these days with folks whose property values are back, and we're able to really now come in and help them, particularly with the lower interest rates, save some money.
Right.
So yes, that's been very good both on the sales end but also on the refinance end. About 30% of the offers have been all cash on a national basis this last year. Some of that's been investors and others looking to take advantage of where the market has been, but that's had an impact again on that demand part of the equation. In terms of mortgage rates, he sees a market where mortgage rates are going to move up just a little bit incrementally probably this next year. We're not at our absolute lowest, but still historically very low. Today we're in the very low 4s.
Right. We've seen a bounce downward, I think, due to the government shutdown and some of those economic signals that went out, but so it did take a dip.
It did, and a lot of that was also tied to Federal Reserve policy, and it looks like the Feds can continue their quantitative easing program here into the foreseeable future, but it's likely that's going to unwind, and that'll have an effect in supply and demand for mortgage-backed securities, and likely to see interest rates go up perhaps 1% or so over the course of the next year. So, taking those things into account, the opportunity still is great for folks in real estate, either to look to refinance with the low rates or the affordability index in terms of low rates and getting in before housing prices continue to go up.
Great. Well, I had a couple open houses this past weekend, and they were heavily trafficked, so buyers are plentiful out
Well,
looking
and I
for
see
property.
you've got the numbers here.
Real
that,
quick, Ellen's
reflect
going
our
to
current-
shut us down here in 1 second. So let's look at September 2012. We were at $643,000 for an average price in Milpitas single family, and $587 for a medium price. That is now shifted and changed to $707,000 for an average price, and $649,000 for an average price. Almost, $75,000. 75 to 100 grand is what I've seen as a real increase over the year, really over the last 12 months. And for the condominium market for September 2012, we have $397,000 for an average price and $435 for a medium price. That is shifted to $505,000 for an average price and $501 for a medium price. So again, close to another 100 grand bump. So it's exciting. I think going into 2014, we've got some great market conditions, and we'll see what happens with the real estate pricing at that time.
Well, in terms of motivation for people putting their homes on the market, we're much more into more of a normal market, I guess you'd say, with that. The shadow inventory, the REOs are not impacting things to the extent that they were.
So we'll turn off now for Valley Homes on TV. We're looking forward. We have a show in a couple weeks. George Perez with the Milpitas Fire Department is going to talk about the local Toys for Tots program that the firefighters are doing to collect toys. And the holidays are coming, so we'll see George, and then we'll all come back and see you in January of 2014.
Terrific. Thanks.
Thanks.